I'm Benjamin Hall, and I'm searching for heroes. Well, thank you for joining us today, everyone, and for coming back to the podcast. We have, another incredible guest on today, and today it is Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, and he is a former NBA player. You may recognize him from his times on the Charlotte Bobcats, the Dallas Mavericks, the New York Knicks. And we're going to talk a bit about what it was like in the NBA and his resilience. But the reason we're speaking to him is because what he's done since playing is try to deal with something he's suffered his whole life, and that is a stutter. And it is something that affected him when he was early. He never wanted to do press conferences. It made him afraid, but he has found a way through. And now he's set up an incredible group called Change and Impact that is to go out and help other people who are stuttering, to bring people together, to raise awareness for it. And so it's great speaking to him today, both about his own struggles, but also about the help that he is out there trying to do. So thanks very much for joining us today. And here's Michael. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And, I admire you and I see your story.
Well, thank you. And I think that both you and I share something, and that is, there have been times which felt difficult, but you found a way to get through. And that's what's got to be the message for anyone out there who's going through something difficult.
Yeah, that part, yeah.
For you, it was, I suppose your difficulty was stuttering. And it's remarkable because you must have had two different worlds. You had this incredible career in front of the cameras, in front of the press. Everyone saw you. But then you had this other side that only you knew about at first, that you stuttered. And I suppose to start off with, that must have been really difficult for you, the two sides of that.
Yeah, man. It was really, really hard. And, on one side, I have, all this success been, right? And on a whole another side is this human experience that I'm going through as far as being picked on, being teased, and, people don't understand stuttering at all, And I've been through it, from a kid to now, I still stutter myself. So, this is another thing where, it can just go away. I have acknowledged that part about it, So yeah, I mean, it was hard, man. It was difficult and hard to be in the limelight for sure.
I mean, I've seen you talk in the past about at the draft,
yeah.
And it should have been your moment, to really shine, but that's you couldn't embrace it. That's not what you were thinking of that day.
No. As a kid, I had wanted to be drafted, be an all-star, do, these things and such like that. But, this thing called stuttering was always in the forefront of my mind. Either I'm at the at the draft, or I'm reading. As a kid, in that I'm in a classroom and such like that. So yeah, but the draft was a night where, I was just worried about the unknown being known, right? Like in front of
in front of everyone who is watching, I suppose, and everyone who's tuning in. I wonder, was that, what about like the people, your teammates, for example, like the first time that you met your new teammates, for example, was that, would those situations have been awkward for you? How would you let them know?
Well, No. I mean, I didn't introduce myself like, hey, I'm Michael, and guess what? I stutter. Right. It was a thing, Ben, where, if 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 people had found out, when they had found out, it was really the media, just,
Mm.
some bad stories out there, and that kind of, I think, in my opinion, been kind of shape other people's mind about how I talk.
Yeah, I wonder when did you first sort of notice? When did you first know that you stuttered? At what age?
Um, like I always stutter, but like around like 7, 8. Yeah.
And at that point, were there people to talk to? Was there support? Was there anyone you could go to help you?
Um, I mean, I had my parents, I had my family and such like that, but like I was always Michael, right? You know, my my mom had noticed it, but you know, it was it was never a thing um where I had wanted help or even needed help. I'm from a small town in New Jersey.
I suppose for many people with a stutter, that would hold them back. That would obviously prevent them from getting jobs. It would prevent them from perhaps even building relationships. But I mean, for you, it didn't. You found a way to keep going. I suppose that's a series of strengths that you found. But how did you not let it affect you? How did you find the strength to keep going?
Yeah, man. I'm a product of my environment and having a village of people, you know, parents, friends, I never have a wife, I have kids and such like that, so that's the stuff that really matters, and
Mm.
and everybody has something that they deal with, Ben, whether it's
Mm.
stress, whether it is anxiety or even depression and such like that. It's just, yeah, I think the difference has been, you know, people can hear mine.
Yeah.
And now at age of 30, that's perfectly fine. But at 18 and stuff like that, it wasn't fine with me. So yeah.
So where did you get that resilience, first of all? Because again, not many people have that. So why did you have that? Was it your parents? Was it that community? Like, why were you able to find that?
Yeah, man. I think, my and this is unrelated, Ben, but my dad had passed away at the age of 2, and I always,
He was murdered. Is that right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and um, like, uh, and we never found the killer of my dad. So, I, I didn't want to hold my head down and be like, oh my gosh, life is over type thing, right? Like, look, like the things happen in people's lives that we have no control over, but, you know, it is always good to acknowledge the fact I'm hurt or I'm sad or like I need help.
And I think one of the things that you are teaching now, and you're trying to tell other people who stutter or who are going through anything difficult, is talk to people. Like the first thing you should do,
Yeah.
right, is
Mhm.
go and talk to someone. And the moment you start talking, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, yeah. That is true, Ben. I think for me now, I think the hardest thing for myself is just it's introducing my family because there's a lot of my family, right? You got You have Destiny, that's my wife, and I have 3 kids, and it's Ecom. It's just Mike backwards. Then um, I'm gonna have my daughter Maya, and I'm gonna have my daughter Chloe. So yeah, I mean, that's the hardest thing for me to that's a hard thing for me to do. But just just shedding a light, bending to myself, but also other people, whether it is it is in politics or it's that man or even lady on the street, and look, it is hard.
Because you've done not only, and we'll talk about change and impact in a while, but I mean, you've spent quite a few years helping people from, setting up basketball camps for underprivileged people, doing Thanksgiving events, giving back. And I where did that come from? That desire to want to go out and continue helping others?
I seen other people do it for me, right? I seen people, you know, um, help me along the way as well. Like whether that is my blood family or whether that is my friend's parents or my friend's siblings or whether it is a coach, whether it's a teammate. Like, I was blessed enough to be a part of a village.
More of our conversation right after this. When you were playing and you would have sort of press conferences, after matches, like, what was that like? What would you try and avoid them? Would you try to avoid the questions, or how would you deal with that?
I didn't like it, man. I would try my best to avoid them. I would try to fake sick, try to, even not show up to some games, like if I can.
Wow.
Right. But it it was a tough time, man, because you had all these lights, like all these cameras, and it was very, very like, man, I don't even want to do this no more. Or, it's I'm just worth it for myself, because
Yeah.
like I was in the height of Facebook and also also Twitter. So like I would talk, and the next thing I see something that's you know uh, that's just very negative about how I talk. So yeah.
Did you think that in a certain way was playing sports with basketball like a way of initially getting away from talking? Like, did you feel suddenly safe because you were just on, you didn't have to talk, and sport was a way to do that?
I think basketball was my way to achieve, right? To achieve me putting a smile on my family's face.
Mm.
Like achieve a way for me to be successful as an independent person. Basketball and what it is a lot of different things. For me, but it did help me. You have a have a platform to to even do the things I'm doing right now, Ben. So
Yeah.
I acknowledge that for sure.
Yeah. And you've used that platform to set up change and impact is one of the things you've done.
Yeah.
Can you describe change and impact to us and what you're really working towards?
Yeah. So Change the Impact is a nonprofit. I am the founder and also the CEO. So all we want to do is I want to break the stigma, right, around stutter, and I want to help give people a opportunity to receive the things that they want to receive as people who stutter. You know, if that's job opportunities, right? Or even kids that have an IEP in school that have a stutter, or I want to help them go and get into uh, into these colleges. And I think most importantly, I want to improve access to healthcare.
What would you like healthcare? And I know one of the things you're talking about at the moment, and you've been up talking to to Congress and whatnot. You want to really pass a healthcare bill that supports stuttering. What kind of support does someone actually need? Like when it comes to actually, you have someone, say a kid who stutters. What is the system they should get into? What is the kind of actual help they can get to try and either get over the stutter or improve the stutter? Because am I right in saying that? Because I saw a stat that said 80% of people diagnosed early with a stutter.
Yeah, I'm about to get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So it is in early childhood development. So the early, a therapist or a doctor can catch a stutter. It will limit their chances to have a stutter when they get older. But for people that don't know, a lot of insurance firms don't pay for speech therapy for stutters. And as an advocate, I want to help push, some type of legislation that will allow kids to have the services that they need, and I don't know if it's a state by state thing, or I don't know if it's a federal thing, but I'm working on both entities at the moment right now.
How have you found the response so far from Congress, from state and federal? Like, are they open to it? Are you getting the support you want?
Yeah. I mean, I've been getting also support. I've been have a lot of interest where people seek me out now. As far as these states and such like that, to help. So now I have a bill passed in Kentucky, and also I think the stuttering bill will pass in Pennsylvania. This year. So I'm just chipping away all 50 states, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you're going to do it as well. Get through all of them.
Yeah.
One of the other things is am I right in saying at the moment there is no real definition of stuttering?
Right. No, it's not a definition. So that's crazy, right?
How would you define? Like, how do you think it should be defined?
Oh man, this is so broad because there is people that actually go to school for this type of stuff, but I'm not sure, Ben. Like a lot of people, we all stutter differently, right? Yeah, I'm not sure.
If sort of the ways that people, the therapy or what you can go through when you're young, is it repetition? Is it learning how to say the words that you struggle to say? Like, what is the way that a speech therapist would actually sort of help someone get through it?
It's a lot of techniques and stuff like that that individuals can use, as they stutter. See me, how I stutter, I have a lot of blocks. So like, so every time I have a block, I have to tap something or hit something, right? It is ways where people talk slow like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all different techniques, but I think when the important thing, Ben, is for people to accept it first, and that's a realization.
You're listening to Searching for Heroes with Benjamin Hall. We'll be right back. Is there any understanding on where a stutter comes from? I mean, could you? Are there other people, perhaps in family, that stutters? Could it be genetic? Could it be education? Do we know exactly where a stutter comes from?
No, we don't.
Huh. What sort of research do you think that really needs to be focused on? Is it the therapy? Is it where it comes from?
I'm not sure what's not happening at the moment, but it is a shortage as far as SLPs and therapists. People that are and is going into the field. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's finish it up by talking about how you can really motivate someone who may be stuttering. Like, what is your message to them? Someone who is having a tough time, what that's like.
Yeah.
Who might not think they can do anything, who might not think they can get their jobs. Like, what would you say to them? How could they lift themselves up and find that motivation?
Yeah. I mean, I would say just acknowledge the fact that it isn't over for you as a person. Although it may feel like it sometimes, and that, and I think most importantly, words have power, and not just other people's words, but our own self-talk, right? I mean, if I say I can't all day, then I'm not going to do it, right? I mean, I don't always feel able to talk myself, like I want to get up every single day and fight for myself, but also other people out there that stutter. Like whether it is in the urban community or whether it's in a rural community, right? Oh, it don't matter because we all know what it's like. I have never met a person who stutters who is arrogant, like ever.
I suppose sometimes it can take away from you in some senses, but it can also make you really strong. Like if you have had to go through, something that is difficult like this, you do develop a strength as well. So I think maybe that's one way of looking at it as well, is that, if you've got through this, if you can do it, you're stronger than other people because you've been through tough times and you've come through the other side.
Yeah. Being able and willing to do it. But that's not always easy, and I guess that tough part is what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
When did you first decide, by the way, to go out and sort of to set up Change and Impacts? Like, were you always thinking about that? Did you always think, when I finish playing, I'm going to do that? Or when did that idea come to you?
Yeah, man. It was to a friend of mine, Dr. Kidd-Johnson. She, back in 2019, she was at the University of Houston, and she was teaching there, um, and when I was in town and such like that, and she had wanted me to come and talk to her class, and I did, about stutter, and then after that, it just picked up on the interest where I had over time knew other people at these hospitals or at these universities, and then I'll go visit them to kind of to learn, and it was the same thing every time, Ben, where it is kids and parents out there that aren't getting the services that they want.
You must also appreciate what someone like yourself, who's had a career like you, what you do to people. Like when you walk into that room and other people who have stutters see you, like that must send a really strong signal to them.
Yeah, man. It's you say that I get the same boost of energy that they would get,
Mm.
they want my autograph, and and I mean, I want a picture with them. So it's kind of like it's this thing where I don't feel like I'm the only one anymore.
Mm. It's funny because you said earlier that you've never met anyone with a stutter who is arrogant, and
Yeah.
I wonder what that was like when you're playing in the NBA and you're surrounded by a whole lot of people who sometimes maybe are arrogant. Sometimes did you feel that you were different in any sense because of that?
No, no. I think when you competing for something, then that kind of nature out there it just overrides and overtakes. But this right here is something totally different.
Mm. Do you think the competition, you said compete for something, do you think that that's something which helps us get through really difficult times? Like if you're competing to get somewhere, if you set yourself a goal, you've got to get there. Is that something that can really help?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think every day I have to compete still. I got to compete with myself, right?
Mhm.
Um, you know, uh, and 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 also be open minded to, I guess, learning different things about myself, even or even both parties, right? Like,
Mm.
like, this is something that I've educated myself every single day.
Yeah. Do you have a goal? Like, is there, when it comes to what you're doing, like, is there something that you really want to achieve, something that you really want to do that you're working towards?
Yeah, I wanna, um, I wanna help people for people. I have a goal and like a dream to help all, everyone that has a stutter, and I want to change the stigma around stutter. Right? It isn't a bad thing all the time, but
Is there anything else that you want to say about stuttering, about what you're doing that you think that the listeners really should hear?
I think this time, I have had away from basketball to help people who stutter, have been better than any game I ever played in. It has allowed me to learn. It has allowed me to have time, and with that, I have been blessed with the idea of time, right? And I say that meaning, I'm in my second career right now, right? I have time to learn. I have time um, with my family, and also I have time to heal as a person. And and lastly, I have time to help three the 3 million Americans, like around the country. And, I wouldn't trade this for the world, man.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Hey, Michael, thank you so much for joining us today and for all the work that you do as well. And I know that people listening will definitely learn as well. And hopefully more people can learn, more people can help, more people can come together. And I know that's what you're working towards.
I appreciate you, Ben. Thank you a lot. Thank you.
Good man. Take care, Michael.
All right, y'all.
Well, it's remarkable speaking to Michael, and you get not only obviously an understanding of a stutter, but far more than that, you get the sense of resilience that's inside him. He never let it stop him, even though it was hard at times, even though it was difficult for him to get through certain events. He never let it stop him. He always kept trying to find a way through. And look, that's the message that I think so many of our guests are sending as well. So what a great pleasure to have him on today. And again, thank you guys for listening. Thanks for listening to Searching for Heroes. Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcasts Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.